Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvadam Ganganapade Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanyatrambike Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Gunatito Aksharam Brahma Bhagavan Purushottama Jano Janandidam Satyam Uchyate Bhava Bandhanat. Om Bhagavate Shri Swaminarayanaya Namaha. Shri Lakshmi Narayanaya Namaha. Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Shri Hanuman Ji Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 21st of October 2024. I want to offer my prostrations to all the sages in the world and to Bhagavan residing in the heart of every being. With that prarthana, we are continuing to examine the several ideas pulled together, and to continue from yesterday, the poem written by Sadguru Shri Nishkulananda Ji, Nishkulananda Swami, amazing saint. As I mentioned yesterday, there's a lot of history behind his writings, and he has discussed this problem of desire and the layers of desire. So I want to continue just from yesterday, where in the Vedantic and classical Indian philosophy, Sanatan Dharma, Kama, meaning desire, is often described as a primary obstacle in spiritual liberation. I'm highlighting this for you here. If you're following along online, you can see that, that why is that? So we'll get into it in a moment. But desires, particularly when they are deeply ingrained, tether the individual to the cycle of sansar, birth and death, making spiritual progress difficult. So in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 4.4.6, it posits that desires are the root of all suffering, and they bind the soul and the Atman to the material world, perpetuating ignorance, avidya, and preventing the realization of the self. Now, this is interesting. Why is kama, desires of all different kinds, why are they even present in anybody's life? Well, they are present so that the Jivatma can experience the expression of Maya. I hope that point is clear. That the expression of Maya, meaning the expression of the engulfment in Mahamaya, is manifested in human beings' life as the experience of Kama. Kama meaning the wanting of the experiences that are connected with the sense objects and the world outside. That connection between the soul, the Atma, and the outside world, which is what we see, the outside world through the body, is a frictional connection psychologically, and that internal psychic friction is called the subtle body, or the subtle body has that friction, and those are the three gunas of Maya. Sattvagun, Rajogun, Tamogun. Guna here means that there is a friction between the causal body, or the interaction between the causal body and the outside world creates this frictional experience called the gunas. And from that frictional experience, or as part of that frictional experience, there is the experience of pleasure and pain, and the continuum of sukh and dukkha. That is how sukh and dukkha are actually within one's life. They are experienced that way. Now, this is very real, because when Nishkulananda Ji is talking about tyag, those who are taking the path towards further evolution into highest of consciousness, yes, tyag has a great benefit and it is necessary, because otherwise the jivatma is just rolling around in the mud of the panchvishayas. That's all. But the deficiency in vairagya prevents the flourishing of that tyag to its full capacity. Tyag means renunciation. Why renunciation? So renunciation meaning restriction of sense experience, so that the energy that is present inside the buddhi, inside the manas, inside the antakaran, inside the indriyas, that shakti can take a different turn from the state of bhoktaram, as Shankaracharya ji is stating, into the state of bhakti. B to B. Airbnb. There you go. You know, that's the Airbnb, new interpretation of Airbnb. From bhoktaram to bhakti. Very interesting. You see? Bhoktaram is what? I want this experience, this. It's just, this is bhog. Bhog mein, jivatma is wanting more and more bhog. No doubt, every jivatma wants, but cannot keep expanding. There's a limit to the body. And then keeps shifting, and then that's it. So the transition from bhoktaram, the word Shankaracharya ji used in verse 77, into the state of bhakti, is the transition that a person is looking for through the restriction of the experiences of the senses. And that's what Nishkuran Swami is talking about when he uses the word tyaga. Otherwise, why anybody should be, to restrict experience? Why? If Sachin says, well, I want to focus more on Bhagavan Krishna, but I'm going to, do all kinds of things in my life and keep my senses polluted by all kinds of stimuli, kya bhakti hogi? Kabhi bhi bhakti hogi bhi nahi. My mind is getting diluted, polluted, shattered, fragmented, tormented by the constant stimuli. It won't happen. Shriji Maharaj, Bhagwan Swaminarayan, is absolutely, the clarity. There's a statement made in Garuda Pratham 18. It's a mind-boggling, and I'll repeat it. I've said this before at some point. Maharaj said, if you have a sadhak, if you have an individual who knows the Vedas, who knows the scriptures inside out, think about this, who has studied the Puranas and has done all kinds of sadhana, but the five senses are not kept in a purified framework. If they are not kept within a range that is promoting purification, there is no mukti for that person. Doesn't matter if Sachin knows the Bhagavad Gita backwards and forwards and inside out, which I don't, obviously, that would be nice, right? I want to get to that maybe, but by the grace of God. But even that won't liberate Sachin until I follow the purification process of the senses. I'll never get liberated if I'm just inputting trash inside the mind. That friction that I was talking about before between the causal body and the outside world, the rajogun, tamogun, etc. That friction continues, and the jivatma is caught inside that friction lifetime after lifetime. Not just this one lifetime, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, taking birth again, taking different bodies again and again and again. That is called the Anvay Swarup. From a Tattva point of view, that is called the Jivka Anvay Swarup. Garuda Pratham 7 and multiple Vachanamrutas talk about that. And the Advait Vedanta also talks about that. And just Bhagavatam also uses this word Anvay. Anvay means that the Jivatma is in the throes of the Sansara Chakra. The Jivatma is actually Vetirek. It's actually never polluted, diluted. It is a Satchidananda Brahman only. But it is in the throes of the cyclical sansara, birth and death. Isko Jeev ka Anvay Swarup kehte hain. Garuda Pratham 7. It's only a one paragraph, but iska, my God, the power of that one Vachanamrut, sab pura Tattvagnan, Maha Tattvagnan aa gaya isme. And literally in 2 lines, Sriji Maharaj put a nuclear bomb on that thing, and he just explained it so fantastically. क्या पावर है वचनामृत का, सब शास्त्रों का. ऐसे जो बड़े बड़े संतों के जो शास्त्र है, they have clarified this thing. The point here is that the Jivatma can never be liberated until the 5 senses are kept within a restricted range for the purpose of liberation and bhakti, not in terms of suppression of vasana. And so that restriction range is discussed by Shriji Maharaj in Garuda Pratham 18. The vasanas towards the Panch Vishayas and then the damage that is done is discussed by Shankaracharya ji in verse 77 of Vivek Chudamani. Nishkulanand Swami then is going further to say, in connection with the Bhagavad Gita verse Vishayavini Vartante Niraharasine, that the root level vasanas are going to thrash the individual and destroy that boundary that has been placed of Tyaga, and one will swing back into Bhoga. See the link. This is really something. To really see this connection of these 4 scriptures. You've got Shankaracharya ji, you've got Garuda Pratham 18, you've got Bhagavad Gita verse 70, I think it's 76, this in chapter 2, Vishayavani Vartante Niraharase Dehina, Rasavarjam Rasope Se Param Dushta Nivartate, and this poem of Nishkulanand ji, Tyagana Take Vairagya Vina Kariye Koti Upaye ji, which we will look at it in more detail later on. But if you pull this all together, there is a great satya that opens from inside, and that is what we're looking for. Not just an intellectual analysis. That's okay, we can do. As I mentioned to you before, people have gotten PhD degrees on Nishkulanand Swami and on the Bhagavad Gita. Someone in my family, in fact, my mother's younger brother's wife, who is still there in Bombay, she has a master's in the Bhagavad Gita. And there's multiple people in Sanatan Dharma, in the scholarly world and whatnot, and in arts and science, in arts and literature and whatnot. They are masters or they have doctoral degrees in the Bhagavad Gita. Hum to kis jad ki patti? We're doing some study here and there. They have spent 20-30 years in the study of the Gita. And so it is a tremendous accomplishment. I had met an individual, a Marathi fellow, years back, who had memorized the whole Gita, had memorized 3 Upanishads also. And it was the most fantastic meeting with him. He knew it like backwards, forwards, the whole thing. But even if such a person does not keep the senses in a purified range, there is no mukti. Mukti nahi hoti. Intellectual stuff, name, fame, degrees, this, that. Antakaran ashuddha hi rehta hai. Vasna doesn't go away by memorizing Gita shloks. Memorizing Gita shloks or remembering them or studying all these things is good. It's an aid. It is necessary. But that is not the end point. Just intellectual noise it can become. And we don't want that. It's the realization of the Atma Tattva. Wo baat hi kuch alag hai. Brahma Swarup Sthiti. Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha. Brahmi Sthiti. Sthiti par laksha rakhna chahiye. Not just language. Not just ideas, not just the world of language. See, even J. Krishnamurti stated beautifully. Go beyond the structure of language. Don't be stuck in... Language is necessary up to some point. Even Vedanta is teaching us. Naam Roop se par dekho. Garuda Madhya 30 is teaching us. Naam Roop thi par Shuddha Chaitanya Brahmayane Jek Satya Jane in Gujarati. What is Satya? That Brahma Tattva, beyond the forms of Prakriti, is Satyam. Srimad Bhagavatam is saying, Satyam Param Dhimai, in the very first chapter. And then in the 10th canto, Krishna se Bhagavan Swayam. वो जो manifested form जो परमात्मा का जो है, recognize that Paramatma, connect with that Paramatma, have a relationship with the Ishta Devata and with respect with all sages and scriptures, and set the destination for liberation where Param Društva Nivartate, as we were saying, that setting the destination, making progress step by step by step by step, Bhagavan pulls the devotee, he will remove the Maya. Daivi Esha Gunamayi, Mama Maya Duratya, Mam Eva Prapadyante, माया मेताम तरंतिते, माया मेताम तरंतिते, भगवान की कृपा से माया का भाव निकल जाता है. If we only want परमात्मा, he says I'll remove the Maya right away. माया तो उनकी शक्ति है. माया इज अ शक्ति ऑफ परमात्मा. इन शिक्षापत्री स्वामीनारायण भगवान भी कहते हैं इसमें, माया इज व्हाट अहम અને મમત્વ કરવાની ભગવાન કૃષ્ણની શક્તિ છે. Meaning what? It is a power of Sri Krishna that causes attachments inside the material world. Yes. So we are lost in the power and fascinated by the Maya of God. But the day that we shift our attention to Paramatma, भगवान को तो इतना ही चाहिए, एक ही बात है. Shift the attention to me. He says, you come to me. Look at the verses in the Gita. Oh my God, so many. And सारांश इतना है, come, keep your attention on me. Maya aveshamanu. I can give you the verses. We won't go into all that. We don't have time right now. But the point is, when the internal shifting of the attention out of the vortex of the Panch Vishayas into the connection while living in the sansar, living with family, in fact, living in the sansar becomes so beautiful. इतना सुंदर जीवन बनता है इसमें. हमारा अंतःकरण एक निर्मल बन जाता है. निर्मल, जैसे पानी है, फिल्टर्ड वाटर, निर्मल पानी. हमारा मन कैसा हो जाता है? निर्मल बन जाता है. See, that is this, वो संत की स्थिति है. And remember, we have this image in our mind. Sant meaning people with the ochre, the different clothing and all that. ठीक है, that is a path. But that's not the definition of sadhu. Sadhu का definition is a vritti, मनोवृत्ति, अंतःकरण की पवित्रता, अंतःकरण की निर्मलता. अंतःकरण में साधुता है. और वो कोई some outside person is not going to give her some certificate saying that now you are a full sadhu. ऐसा नहीं है. It's the presence that speaks. It's nothing else. There's no certificate from outside. And the bhakta is not looking for validation from outside. Is looking for only what God thinks of that person, not anybody else in this world. ठीक है, we want to learn it all from others. Sometimes we are so concerned with what others are thinking. Well, how they are perceiving me. Well, let them perceive what they're not concerned about Sachin. They're looking at their own vasanas mostly. They're not concerned about me. The only thing that most human beings are concerned about is how to fulfill their own vasanas. We are mistakenly thinking they're so concerned about us. That is absolutely not true. There is some connection here and there. Leave that aside. The fact is, what is the opinion of Sri Krishna? What is the opinion of Shankaracharya ji? How are they viewing us? It's very interesting. I'll just close with this. When we go for darshan in the temple, mandir mein darshan ke liye jate, what do we think? I have gone to the temple for darshan. Turn it around. Bhagwan dekhte hai, okay, let's see why you're here. What is going on with you? He's doing darshan of us. Bhagwan hamara darshan karte. What is going on inside your head? What is going on in your life? He knows everything. It's not only that we're doing darshan of the Paramatma. Paramatma is doing darshan of us. कि क्या खेल चल रहा है जीवन में. And this is the whole. It's the whole point. He knows everything. तन की जाने, मन की जाने, जाने चित की चोरी. इसके आगे क्या छुपाए जिसके हाथ में डोरी. तन की जाने, मन की जाने, जाने चित की चोरी. उनके हाथ में, इसके आगे क्या छुपावे जिसके हाथ में डोरी. Let's stop here, otherwise we will not be able to stop. So, Om Dhyana Mulam Gurur Murti, Mantra Mulam Gurur Vakyam, Puja Mulam Gurur Krupa, Moksha Mulam Gurur Krupa, Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Gnana Murtim Dvandatitam Gagana Sadrusham, Tattvamasyaati Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalavachanam, Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavaditam Triguna Rahitam, Sadgurum Tam Namami, ओम दुर्गे दुर्गे रक्षिणी ठठ स्वाहा. ओम श्री राधा कृष्णार्पणमस्तु.